HDFC Bank on Wednesday announced that its chairman Atanu Chakraborty has resigned with immediate effect, citing concerns over certain practices within the bank that were not aligned with his personal values and ethics. In fact, in his resignation letter, the HDFC Bank chairman has said that his views and his ethics don't align, and the bank's practices don't align with his personal values and ethics. In his March 17th resignation letter, Chakraborty said developments over the past 2 years had led him to step down, adding there were no other reasons behind his decision. In a regulatory filing, India's largest private sector lender said the Reserve Bank of India has approved now the appointment of board member and HDFC Group veteran Keki Mistry as interim part-time chairman for 3 months starting March 19th. The bank reiterated that Chakraborty's resignation was solely based on the concerns outlined in his letter, even as his exit raises questions about internal governance and practices at the private lender. Shriram Subramanian, founder and MD of InGovern Research Services, joins me for his views on this developing story this morning. Mr. Subramaniam, thank you so much for your time, sir. Just help us put this entire story into context. A sudden letter of resignation citing ethical concerns and non-alignment with practices in the bank. It seems like a serious enough charge at what's going on at HDFC Bank, and that is something being reflected in the stocks of HDFC Bank also this morning, which are down about 4.25%. What exactly, in your opinion, is happening at the bank, sir?
Good morning. I would think that this comes as a surprise, but the fact that the chairman has talked about 2 years of issues. So there have been a couple of whistleblower complaints received by HDFC Bank. So it's not clear whether the management is addressing those issues upfront, tackling them proactively. So from that perspective, it's not clear whether the processes, the systems, and the people, the bank still needs.
Okay, we will try and bring back Shriram Subramaniam on this story. Meanwhile, HDFC Bank has announced that its chairman Atanu Chakraborty has resigned, citing concerns over certain practices within the bank. Mr. Subramaniam, if there are certain practices going on in the bank, and if Mr. Chakraborty has been heading the bank as chairman for the last 2 years, why was something not done about fixing those practices, and what would it take for the chairman of the bank to put in his papers? All right, we seem to be facing a connection issue there with Shriram Subramanian. We will bring him back onto this story as soon as we can. Meanwhile, HDFC Bank stocks are trading lower this morning at down about 4% or so in trade. And just to reiterate the story, and this is a developing story which pretty much came to surface overnight, where HDFC Bank has announced that its chairman Atanu Chakraborty has resigned with immediate effect. Remember, he has cited concerns over certain practices within the bank that were not aligned with his personal views and ethics. Mr. Subramaniam, if Mr. Atanu Chakraborty was pretty much the head of the bank, serving as the chairman, and had seen certain issues in non-alignment with his own personal ethics over the last 2 years, why did he not fix them, sir?
So he is not the head in that sense, the executive role. So that's a clarity. Two is, it's not clear whether the management under the executive vice chairman and the MD of the bank proactively addressed many of the concerns which the board or Mr. Atanu Chakraborty has raised in the past. Two is, there have been a couple of whistleblower letters in the recent past, which I think HDFC Bank may not have proactively addressed. Three is, it's not clear whether Mr. Atanu Chakraborty sought information from the management team and the management team were not forthcoming or providing this information. Four is, so now the onus is on the management to put out a white paper, detailed white paper on the issues that they think needs to be addressed. In fact, just now there was a investor call by HDFC management. I thought they were a bit cocky. I thought they said that they do not know the specific reasons. None of the board members know the specific reasons why Mr. Atanu Chakraborty has put in his papers. So it is the onus on them to reach out to Mr. Atanu Chakraborty, talk to him, and specifically hear his concerns. Even now, after he has tendered his resignation, if anything, HDFC Bank needs to constitute a committee of independent directors and address this head on, not be cocky about it, not say that all is well with the bank, etc. The other stakeholder, Mr. RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, needs to also step in because HDFC Bank is a systematically important bank. RBI needs to comment or investigate the matters at HDFC Bank. They also cannot be seen to be silent because there is a lot of investor funds, there is a lot of other stakeholders like depositors which are likely to be impacted. The governance premium the banks attracts could erode quite quickly because this is where the bank needs to step in, the management has to step in rather than just think that this is just an individual issue.
All right. So how much of the buck stops at the management of HDFC Bank and how much stops at the regulator, the Reserve Bank of India? Should the bank take suo motu responsibility, initiate its own investigation like you're suggesting, or given the size and given the implication and the systemic nature of HDFC Bank, the scale of its operations, should the RBI step in immediately and give some clarification?
Definitely, the onus is on the management of the bank. They cannot wish away this impact. They cannot talk down that all is well with the bank. So they need to do something more proactive than just a investor call. They need to constitute a committee of independent directors. They need to ensure that they outreach to Mr. Atanu Chakraborty and put out a white statement paper, if anything. So there needs to be something more than just an investor call, is all I'm saying. Otherwise, the regulator, of course, needs to step in. They also need to do something about it. This.
And what about the other regulators, sir? The capital market regulator, SEBI, is there something that SEBI also needs to do? Because the kind of beating that HDFC Bank stock is getting today, the stock is down almost 5% or so in trade. Should some sort of intervention also be expected of SEBI, or is it going to first be the management as well as the Reserve Bank of India before SEBI gets involved?
No, I don't think the grounds on which SEBI needs to get involved is very clear.
Okay.
There was some commentary that there was a short build-up yesterday on HDFC Bank, the number of put options that people had, this one, etc., etc. So from that perspective, whether there was any insider trading, SEBI can probably investigate. Beyond that, I don't think SEBI has grounds to for this issue itself or the stock being down, etc., etc.
Is there also I mean, I don't know if you have been made aware of any sort of issues of conflict of interest as well within the senior executives at the bank, and apparently all these surfaced after that auto loan issue around the time that Aditya Puri was exiting the bank. Is there anything that you know, any details that you are aware of about the conflict of interest and the conflicts within the senior management at HDFC Bank, sir?
No, apart from what is there already in the public domain or in the whistleblower letters in the media, I am not aware of any other issues. But even that needs to be addressed head on by the bank. It may be contained within one department or one division. The extent of it may be very small. HDFC Bank needs to investigate thoroughly and put out this one on what processes or systems they have enhanced or they have taken to ensure that those conflicts are mitigated, and they need to really come clean on these.
Right, okay. And talk to us, sir, about Keki Mistry now being elevated to the position of chairman, interim chairman for at least 3 months is what we are picking up. Continuity, stability, some reassurance potentially. But talk to us about what Keki Mistry's elevation means specifically for shareholders.
No, I don't think shareholders will view it positively or negatively, if anything, slightly negatively, because of course the bank is sort of putting in a stopgap sort of a arrangement for hopefully only the next 3 months till they find another chairperson who is independent. I hope they get an independent chairperson, not an executive chairperson. Two is the fact is that Keki Mistry has been a lifer of HDFC Bank. So to that extent, and is a member of the executive team. So to that extent, the onus is also on Keki Mistry to step up and ensure that these issues are addressed head on. And more importantly, assuring investors that these issues have been taken on head on.
All right, let's leave it at that. Mr. Shriram Subramanian, thank you so much, sir, for bringing us your perspective on this developing story. We will keep an eye on it.